Thanks to the support as a channel member, Dara. I guess it's pretty difficult to complain when quarter of the way through the season, we're in the top half of the table. We're looking pretty solid. We don't lose a lot of games. We're a decent mid-table Premier League team. But there is that little touch of frustration that our top scorer is a centre-back despite spending £36 million on a striker in the summer. Hello, welcome to Club 4, Part 8 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games in the Premier League for you. We're at home against Man City, away against Liverpool. They're traditionally quite difficult Premier League games. And we are playing Brentford in the Carabao Cup between the two of them as well. We'll do that one off camera. Since you were last with me, this is what's been going on. We've only lost one game in the Premier League this season. A narrow 1-0 draw at home against Leicester. Doesn't necessarily tell the whole story because we did go through quite a long patch. What is that, a 5-game patch where we didn't win a game? So we won the first couple, as you saw in the last episode. We then beat Preston in the Carabao Cup as well. Or it's actually being labelled as the EFL Cup. Can I stop talking about the Moose? The EFL Cup. Has the sponsorship gone? It's still got Carabao on there. I don't understand. But then we drew against Wolves, drew against Brighton, drew against Newcastle. These all feel like games, if we're serious about being a half-decent team, we probably need to be picking up points against. And I don't mean individual points because the tough games are coming, as we see with what we've got today. We then managed to knock Chelsea out of the EFL Cup, which was nice. But followed that with a defeat at Leicester, a draw against Spurs, and then finally back to winning ways with a win over Fulham. It does mean that this is what the Premier League table looks like, and absolutely we take that at the start of the season. The board are just looking for us to avoid relegation again, and we find ourselves in 8th place after 8 games, 13 points on the board. Yes, please, we take that. What is more of a frustration is Diego Knoll as our top goal scorer. He's got, 4 goals from 9 games in all competitions. He's playing very well. He's our new club captain. He's an aerial threat at corners, but we're not really scoring very much from open play. Our new mega expensive signing, Pedro Luis, is playing quite well, but not quite knocking in the goals yet the way I hoped he would. Although he is starting to show some signs of life in recent matches, scored against Fulham, scored against Newcastle. I'm sure once he learns the language, and once he's a bit more settled in, we can expect to see a little bit more in the way of goals out of him. Alvarez, likewise, has had a quiet start to the season. We felt like we could potentially sell him for a lot of money this summer. We didn't. We didn't get the offer for him. I mean, I can't really complain. 5 goal contributions in 8 games and a 7.34. He's playing well. It's just the theme of the attacking players here at Norwich. It was the same last year. Even when they're playing well, they're just, I don't think any of them are ever just going to score an absolute hatful of goals, which I really hoped Luis would come in and do that, but maybe not. Well, to be fair, I am still playing him behind Alvarez, so maybe at some point we'll swap the two of them around and it might lead to different results. But for now, they're, like I say, they're playing well like this. Gilberto Carlos coming in from behind them is playing well. And as a team, we are playing well. So I don't want to mess with things too much while we're winning football matches. That might be all about to change today against Manchester City. So we're going with Hoy and Hal in goal. A back four of Sessegnon, Charles Caesar, Knoll and Wagyu. Zamorano at the base of the midfield. Janusek and Tipple ahead of him. Gilberto Carlos then in behind. Pedro Luis and Alvarez up front. A very South American feel to this team. The vast majority of them are Brazilian or Argentinian. With the have we got any English players? I think Ernesto Tipple. I think, it's Etienne Tipple. I knew it was an exotic name before Tipple. Etienne Tipple. He's English, I think, but he's the only English player in the team. Apart from Asa, Asa Walsh is the only other English player in the matchday squad. We probably, do a team talk. We probably need to get a few more homegrown players in. We saw it towards the end of the transfer special when it came to squad registration, and we are struggling a little bit on homegrown players now. So I think the priority for the next year or so when it comes to transfers, we've got the basis of a mid-table Premier League squad here now. I don't think we need to keep bringing in Argentinian and Brazilian wonderkids, as much as I'd love to. There's just no room for them in the squad now. We've got enough of them to mean realistically, I don't think we're ever going to be in fear of relegation again. But what we need is to start bringing in some homegrown players, and we know they're expensive. Asa Walsh is an example of just how expensive they can be. And it's probably going to be a case of 1 or 2 over the course of the next year. And to be fair, if we can bring in 1 or 2 English players who can come into this first team who are young, then I think that's probably fine. That helps us with the homegrown stuff long term while we wait for the academy to catch up, which for some reason, despite having the best facilities we could possibly hope for, has been a bit ropey. That Mbappe guy's quite good, isn't he? Imagine what it would be like with a striker like that in the team. 11 goals already for him this year, and he's made Hoyenhal look like a lesser goalkeeper. And we know Hoyenhal is anything but. He's the finest goalkeeper ever to grace Football Manager, but he's been made to look like a little bit of a wally there by Mbappe. But let's face it, if you look at the Manchester City team, it's a who's who of who do you sign in FM22? You've got Bellingham, you've got Rice, you've got Nico, you've got Mbappe, you've got Adeyemi. I mean, what are we supposed to do? It's a case of you just kind of smile politely and take your medicine when you play against a team like this. And it does make me think long-term future of the save, unless I luck into a big job in the Premier League, I think for me to take that step towards legendary status, towards winning domestic leagues, towards winning Champions Leagues, I look at that Manchester City team and think, well, I'm going to have to go abroad to do it. There's no breaking past a team like that because they're just absurd. And I mean, we saw Liverpool have a bad season last year, and it's probably because this Manchester City team is uncatchable. And then you look at Manchester United and they're ridiculous as well. And I don't think the Norwich manager gets a job at one of those real top tier clubs. It tends not to work like that in FM. Although we've not tried it in FM22, but it tends not to work that way. So I suspect our next job after Norwich, which I'm not keen, I'm not desperate. I could do 3 or 4 years here at Norwich, maybe flirt with the Conference League, something like that. But I think the long-term future is a trip back overseas, hopefully a more successful one this time as well. Tipple is in there, and if he'd have just given that a little bit of welly, he is a left footer, he could have just driven that across goal and really tested Edison, but instead he's just kind of rolled it into him. And our best chance of the half, arguably the best chance of the half, because Mbappe's one was just a piece of individual brilliance. But for an actual team-crafted chance, I think that was probably the best opportunity of the first half. We should probably be level. Zamorano, of course, the former Manchester City man, and it ends up with Tipple and now Sessegnon. Back across to Zamorano again, who this is the first video I've recorded after I asked you if I should sign him. I don't think anyone agreed that I should sign him. I did. And Pedro Luis is just, run up to Mbappe, give right in his face. Anything you can do, I can do to an equivalent standard. The age-old phrase. We talked about Pedro Luis not quite showing what we hoped he would yet, but that was brilliant. He drags the ball away from the defender, just takes the defender out of the play completely, dinks it over the top of Edison. It's 1-1, and that was a £36 million goal. If he's starting to come good, the sky's the limit. Forget all that. We're winning the Champions League with Norwich next year. Forget everything I was saying before. Oh, wow. That was a goal. We've got a superstar on our hands here, boys and girls. Right. Manchester City, of course, are now going to be eager to go and re-establish their lead in this game. So we need to be a little bit wary of what they're going to be doing. I think Sessegnon is on a yellow card, which is a little bit alarming when they've got a wide player who just keeps running at him the way that he does. And Hoyenhal really should have done better with that one. I mean, what's going on here? The referee looks like he's coming over to talk to the linesman, or he's got his finger in his ear. I can't imagine what this could be disallowed for. Yeah, there was nothing there. I don't even know what the review was for. But, oh good, they've still got Phil Foden as well. Oh, maybe there was talk of potential offside. Hoyenhal should be doing better there. We were just talking about how good he is. He's better than that. I think he's just got a little bit starstruck here today. He's been turned inside out by Mbappe and has let one slip under him that he's good enough to save. And we've seen him save stuff like that a gazillion times before. Tipple's in again, and Tipple this time doesn't make a mistake and does slot it back under Edison, and it's an immediate reply from Norwich. This is a game. And if we'd have had the same Hoyenhal who we remember from Bayern Munich and Manchester United over the last couple of years, then we'd be at least 2-1 up. We're playing very, very well against a very, very good Manchester City team. 2-2, 20 minutes to go. This is where they probably have a slight advantage because their bench, they were able to bring Phil Foden on. I'm looking down at our bench and Asa Walsh is just grinning and waving back at me. Hello, Asa. I see you. I'm probably not going to bring you on. We're going to bring Zanelli on because he's fit again. So Tipple can go across to be the box-to-box midfielder. Wagyu, he's shattered. He's not actually, that's a lie. Wagyu's not shattered. That's just typical script coming out of my head. He's not playing well and he's on a yellow card. I'm looking at both of the fullbacks. We don't really have anyone to come on from Sessegnon. If we were playing anyone other than Man City, then Aurelio, although Aurelio's not on the bench, I've been playing him a little bit as a left-back, trying to turn him into a Sessegnon-style winger, converting into left-back, who can't defend, but then neither can Sessegnon. And Aurelio's so good, the young Brazilian left-winger, that I'd quite like to just keep him around the club, and we'll make him a left-back, a left wing-back, a complete wing-back on the left-hand side. Call it whatever you want. We're going to make him one. Right, we've got some tired legs out there now. Including Sessegnon. This isn't ideal. I mean, we could put Kante at left back. Charles Cesar can play left back as well. I think he is left-footed. Perhaps we'll put him to left back. So if we put him to left back, and then Kante can go into the middle, and Mingueza can come on that side. I think that's the most sensible change we can make there. Can we make 5 subs? No, didn't think we could. Someone said in the comments that we can make 5 subs. I'm pretty certain we've never been able to in any of the leagues I've played in, including the Bundesliga. But I never actually tested it in the Bundesliga. So maybe all that time we were there. Maybe this is why I got sacked. I never learnt the rules. I tell you what, boys and girls, we are becoming draw specialists, but we take a draw there any day of the week. At any point of the series, I think, even if you're managing Barcelona or Bayern Munich, I think you take a draw against this Manchester City side. So we will pat ourselves on the back. We're going to go and play Brentford off camera in the EFL Cup, and then we'll be back for Liverpool. I'm not sure how Liverpool are getting on this season. They finished mid-table last year, doing a little better this time around. But Liverpool, not quite the Liverpool that we all know and love from real life, off the back of a 9th, a 5th, and an 11th place finish. Liverpool haven't been a Champions League team for quite a long time now. With captain Trent Alexander-Arnold. Let's go and play them. Specifically, we'll play them. Well, we've carried on our not being able to score goals. We played Brentford. We did rotate a little bit against them. Brentford are top of the championship currently. Look at the state of these match stats. And we didn't score a goal and we lost on penalties. And Alvarez hit the ball over the bar from the first penalty as well. So, yeah, our strikers just... they're going to make me very upset. We now play Liverpool. We have gone back to the team that we played against Manchester City. The one change, Noll is suspended, which is going to be a big mess. Mingueza's coming in at the back as a replacement for him. Otherwise, it is the same team that you saw play so well against Manchester City. So let's get this team submitted. And fingers crossed, having rested so many players in midweek, we should have some decent energy going into this match. I'm hoping Liverpool didn't rest any players and they've got loads of tired legs. That would make me very happy. Very interesting to see they've got Cucurella and Alexander-Arnold playing as their wingers. Eddie Nketiah up front as well. We've just had a look at the Manchester City team, which is a who's who of what to buy on FM22. This looks like a Liverpool side that went bankrupt 5 years ago and is still trying to recover from it. They've got Wilfred Ndidi playing centre-back. I'm not really sure what's going on at Liverpool. Watch them beat me now. Now I've criticised them. Watch them beat me. But that is a very, very interesting Liverpool 11. I'm fascinated by how that has come to be. I wonder if that is because they had loads of players playing in midweek and now they're resting them. But I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about that if I were a Liverpool fan. I'm looking at that thinking, this might be the job. Keep an eye on this job. Oh, my word. Alvarez, is he onside there? You've got to let him be onside just to let that goal stand because it's an absolute stunner. Please, referee. Oh, he has. The referee's a Norwich fan. Lovely stuff. So it's Janusek who plays the ball forward to Gilberto Carlos, turns, and Alvarez, one touch. And then, I mean, he missed a penalty in the last game, and now he's able to hit a shot perfectly like that from 25 yards out. over the goalkeeper. It's Liverpool 0, Norwich 1, and now we've got a corner just before half-time as well. Alvarez floating it into that near post, and Charles Cesar with the header that goes just over. But what a goal from Alvarez. And we're 1-0 up, and good value for it. We deserve to be 1-0 up. So, I mean, like I say, what's going on at Liverpool? Definitely need to be keeping my eye on that situation. I know I said I'm in Norwich for the long haul. We've had a couple of short spells at clubs at Peterborough and Schalke. We don't want to get a reputation for changing clubs too often. But if this Liverpool job comes up, I've just talked about how impossible it is to break past Manchester City. I think if you're going to do it with anyone, surely you do it with Liverpool, unless they genuinely have had some financial issues, which has caused this to happen. But I think that's unlikely. I think they've just been really mismanaged. Pedro Luis now out to Wagyu, who's trying to get himself into a crossing position. He does. He goes past his man. Bearing in mind they've got two fullbacks on either side. Our fullback's having a lovely time still, but the shot goes just wide. And they are now shuffling things around a little bit. Alexander-Arnold has gone back to right back, and they've brought a winger on, I think. Pedro Luis now, though, nice and deep, drifting into the wide areas again, cuts back, lovely ball into the path of Alvarez, who grabs his second of the game. And these two, I mean, I criticised them a little bit at the start of the episode. I don't know about you, I feel like they're starting to form a partnership. That is a lovely pass from Pedro Luis. It doesn't matter that he's not got 10 goals already. Look at how well he plays. You saw the goal he scored against City, that pass he's played there. Here against Liverpool, we have got, and dare I say it, a Champions League level front two playing for Norwich. And I mean, I'm very happy about it. Tipple is now in. Look at that control from Tipple. That was ridiculous. Tipple playing it out to Sessegnon. Cuts it back to Tipple again. And now Zamorano, who's got all the time in the world to pick his pass, gives it to Janusek, thunders it into the top corner. It's Liverpool 0, Norwich 3. I mean, are we getting their manager sacked here and now? Because surely any Liverpool manager losing 3-0 at home to Norwich should just be fired on the spot, regardless of how long they've been in the job, how well they may or may not have been doing. This feels like Liverpool's manager's getting the sack. Do we apply for it? I don't know what we do if we... Oh... That might be them now to offer me the job. Well, it wasn't Liverpool phoning. It was the postman with 2 big boxes full of wrestling figures, which Anna saw me bring in. So I might not live long enough to become manager of Liverpool. That plan has been cancelled. Right. Tipple is tired. So Motilara. No, actually, we're not going to bring him on. We're going to bring on Griffin Diaz. Because I'm still trying to make him natural in central midfield. So any opportunity to get him on in central midfield, we get him on in central midfield. Luis is tired as well, so Casolare can come on to play up front, and that will do. Nice. What's going on here? Oh, there was an offside going. I was distracted because of the doorbell. Right. I can't believe what's going on here. We are actually going to have to check after this game to see if Liverpool's manager's been sacked, because there's been times I've had managers sacked before and not noticed until you lot told me in the comments section. And I don't know, do we apply? How do I not? I don't want to upset the Norwich board. I'm very conscious this is episode 8 and this is the episode I got sacked at Schalke. Imagine if we have 2 excellent results like we've had in this video, but then I get myself sacked applying for the Liverpool job. That's a stunning goal. That's as good as any that we've scored in this match. Is he disallowing it? Come on, ref. Remember, you're a Norwich fan. Disallow it. Ugh, curses. I'm talking about excellent results. Liverpool, with that in their locker, we might not be guaranteed an excellent result here just yet. We've taken off 2 of our best players to bring on players who need a little bit of game time. And there you go. Casolare has his first goal of the season. You know it's bad when Casolare can score against you. He's a very good, creative, attacking player, but we know just how iffy his finishing can be at times. But when he hits it really hard. And that's another example of him hitting it really hard. Liverpool 1, Norwich 4. And it's time for another substitution. And I think, have we got Aurelio on the bench? Oh, we haven't. And we brought him on at left back against Brentford. I've got to get him playing left back more. Right, Mingueza can come off and we'll bring on Kante for him. That's fine. That's a nice, easy substitution to make. Probably could have started Kante, actually. But he played the full 90 minutes against Brentford. So that's my excuse for him not starting. Oh, blimey, that's a good header. 4-2 now. I don't think they've got enough time to drag themselves back into this game. If we throw this away from here, goodness me, I'll be cross. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know how it happened. But this, I mean, it doesn't actually take us above Liverpool, but does keep us well in the mix for those European spots, as we're, like I say, roughly a quarter of a point through the season. There's no fear of us being relegated. The question is, have Liverpool just sacked their manager? Because they absolutely should have done. Staff, job centre. We haven't actually got this filtered yet for being here. Club jobs. And no, they haven't. But surely his job security must be a little bit iffy, unless they've just appointed him. I don't know when he got appointed. Liverpool. He's fine at the moment. I guess after 4 years of them being rubbish, being in 6th place is actually fine for them. So, yeah, I don't think there's any chance of that job coming up anytime soon. I just want to check how it's all gone wrong for him. So he's been in the job. When did he get the job? I'm looking at the wrong thing. Let's look at the manager history. So he's only been in the job 100 days. Yeah, he's not getting sacked just yet. So Steven Gerrard balls it up for everybody. There you go, Liverpool fans. That's what went wrong. Steven Gerrard is what went wrong. So Jurgen Klopp got sacked in 2026. And to be fair, that's where it all started to go wrong. They sacked Klopp. Where did they finish in 2026? So 2026, they finished 3rd and sacked Klopp. Are you sure? Oh, no. So they started the season badly. They sacked him in November of this season, where they ended up finishing 9th after finishing 3rd the year before. Conte came in and got sacked by Christmas. And then Gerrard came in, and because he's Gerrard, he got 2 years of failure rather than just 1. And then he's got sacked. So, yeah, it's not that it's all gone off the rails financially. They've just made some poor decisions, sacking Klopp when they shouldn't have done. Wow. Absolutely serves them right. But don't think I'm going to be getting the job anytime soon, because they're going to give that guy a year, I would think. But that Premier League table is looking pretty nice. 10 games in. Took us till about March to get 17 points last season. And if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.